All right, we're gonna jump right in tonight. Do you think people are chasing money or just the image of having it? Anybody can answer because I got a lot of questions I want to get through tonight.
Hmm.
So you think people chasing money or just the image of having it?
I definitely think it's the image, right? That's why people will be on, and I'm guilty of it too. Like I ain't gonna hold you, right? But you'll be on a vacation, you'll do something, you looking good. The first thing you want to do is jump on social media and post a picture rather than putting that money into something that can really go towards you really creating more money, or rather than you investing that money into yourself. Right? We literally live in a world where it's more about appearance than what you actually have. And I think that's a dangerous place to be. And that's why the world is the way it is. So I definitely feel like it's more about appearance than anything else.
Yeah, I would say, man, I think advertisement they honed in on that. They said we can put these shoes at 200, and they keep going 500 at 1,000. Guess what? They're gonna still buy them, and it's like we can make these jeans $1,000, and it's like it's because it's the appearance of people saying, well, this says status. I think oftentimes, man, like people, we look at money as a status level. That classism is a big deal. It's real. It's really happening still. You know, I think we often kind of put ourselves on a certain level, or we want to be on a certain level by money.
So I'm gonna break this down and the best way I can, right? So it's nothing wrong with looking good, right? But it has to be going towards something because your appearance does matter. Posting on social media, you could post on social media if you look good, but just have a reason behind posting on social media, not just to show your nice car, your fancy vacation, or anything like that. Because I know Adrian, you were just talking about CPA and writing things off. If you record content, post pictures with your logo and things like that, you could write that off as a business, like a business trip, a business expense, because you are promoting your business. You are advertising yourself. You can have speaking engagements when it comes to going on vacation. You can have family planning, planning for the family, business planning, things like that. And a lot of people don't know that, and they just use social media just to fake it and never try to make it. So that's a big deal with today's society for real. And I think influence is a big deal too. So the wrong influence, and this is why I brought that up because growing up, you guys are a little older than me, but I grew up with like listening to Jay Z, listening to Nas, listening to Dipset, who else? Jeezy. But everybody that I listened to were hustlers, like trying to make money, talking about making money, getting money. But the kids today is drill music and it's drug use. So that's why I feel like they think people that get money in that way, now they have to do the things that they do because I'm not gonna say a victim of it, but I wanted to be like Jay-Z. Like he talk about making money. I want to make money. Anything that I listen to or watch shows I watch, even like my son is into cartoon characters and action figures and things like that. Spider-Man, really. So he got a Spider-Man suit. He climbing on the back of the chair, thinking he's Spider-Man. But the things that we look at, it makes us want to do it. And I think that's a big problem with young men today is they have the wrong figures in front of them. And now they feel like they have to do the wrong thing and make the fast money. When really, if you put the work in, money could come in fast in the legal way. And I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pause there. I'll let you guys chime in on that.
Yeah, I was just wanting to say my son loves Spider Man. He just cracked his head jumping down the stairs talking about something. You see the web? Nah, ain't no web. But nah, man, you're right. Our environment matters so much. And I think what's even like the mind blowing thing is like we literally have so many different environments. It's easy to find whatever you need, but because it is so unfamiliar to us, we just like avoid it, or because we don't trust, or because we don't want to invest in ourselves. We won't put ourselves in the environments that will kind of expose us or make us feel uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. And so the cycle just continues to go on, man. So
Man, I want to add to that. I think for real, the money got to be a resource and not our source. I think oftentimes when people make it like, oh, I got money. My uncle told me something. He ain't had a whole lot of it, but he said, I make money, money don't make me. And I never forgot it because, I think it's so important is that, you know, how they say it is you can put the stuff on you, but it got to really be in you. And I think that when it comes to it, like money doesn't make you better if you're not a good person. I think that for real, it just highlights, what's inside you. So, it has its purpose. The Bible says money answers all things. So it can definitely deal with problems, but I think it's so important. It has to be, in the right steward's hands.
So I got a question, Donnie, for you. I hear a lot of people say money is the root of all evil. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so you got to put the love part in it, and I think that's the thing. We sometimes we misquote the word. The Bible says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." Is that and that's really anything. If you love something, like I think about money, the Bible says, "Can a man serve two masters?" It says, "Can a man serve God and mammon," which is money. It don't say, "Can a man serve God and the devil," which is so interesting. It says, "Can a man serve God and money?" And I think you say, well, why is that? Because money has a way of making. Think about it. Judas sold out Jesus for money. Money, people like the Bible says, what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? It's almost like this. People say you got a price. You live with the what is the music industry and entertainment. They saying, they're willing to sell their soul for what? What are you willing to give to attain riches?
nah, that's spot on, man. I think, and we might get into it, right? But that's why it's like seek become a person of value, like be purpose driven, right? The money will come as long as you are aligned and your heart is in the right place. Can you be deceitful and still make money? You absolutely can, because we see it in this world too. I think that's where it gets tricky, because it's like, well, okay, God is saying I can't serve both.
I think you blacked out on us, bro.
I was phone.
Yeah.
Adrian, you still there? I was trying to find this video,
Mhm.
and it breaks this down. So I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. I like where he was going with it too, man. Because I don't know the world is. I mean, money seems like the gold chain and all that stuff. And to come to find out, some people's goal is not real. The people, you hear people up there say like, "Man, we have fake watches." So and you think about it, man, just the image of it, for real, it's crazy.
Got him back. There you go. Finish up, Adrian.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. People just started calling. He was calling me back to back. But I was saying, like, you could see both though in the world. You know what I'm saying? You see some people who they could be wicked, and it seems like they got all of the bread, so we think it needs to be like that. But I think it's such a minority amount of people who are actually successful that way, and we have no idea what those people struggle through. You know what I'm saying? So we do have to be mindful. So rather than seeking the bag, it's so much easier, it's so much more fulfilling when you seek to become a person of value. So by me wanting to be a value, and it can literally guide and dictate your life, right? Like I had plenty of offers to join different podcasts and things like that, right? But because I know my purpose, when Dominique showed me his vision, okay, that's a line, that's an easy yes. Versus I could have did something else that probably could have brought me somewhere quicker, but the fruit of this is going to pay off because it's aligned with my purpose, and this is where my heart is at. You know what I'm saying? I even right quick, God checked me where he talked about dealing with people and being respective of the persons. right? How you shouldn't treat somebody with money more than you treat somebody who don't got it. So I had this one client, he a millionaire. I ain't do all the paperwork right away. Yeah, of course, I'll see you. Next thing you know, he owed me $600-700. It's like I got to chase this man down for the bread. And it's like, see, had you make him sign everything and put that card on file, you wouldn't have been through it. So I think that's a small example of not treating people differently about money, not putting money on a pedestal, allowing your purpose and systems and things like that to kind of move you and trust the process.
And I can tell you about millionaires. They are cheap. If they ain't got to pay, they ain't gonna try. And millionaires and celebrities. A lot of people think celebrities like movie stars or up and coming rap artists, they have a lot of money. No, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you they don't. For one, rappers that get a deal, they take a loan out. So this is the way that the industry works. And people may be in the comments saying, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do. I know business and I know how people take loans out. And then you have a sign a deal that you have to do X amount of shows, X amount of albums until that loan is paid back. So there's interest on that loan. So you get money from ticket sales. Now, if you have a real bad deal, call it 360. Why do they call it 360? Because you're not going nowhere. You're just going in a circle. A 360 deal, you have to pay everyone, and you're the last person to get paid. One of my friends named Stacy, he said he read a book called Pay Yourself First. I still got to read a book, but it talks about, from what he told me, was when you have a business, make sure you pay yourself first before you do anything else. Pay yourself and then do everything else. But he's not saying like spend the whole check. He's just saying pay yourself first before that. And with this millionaire conversation, a lot of millionaires are cheap, but they want return on revenue. That's the only thing they think about. Like, what's my return? What am I getting? What am I getting out of this? And I know a few. I know a few millionaires, a few people that was worth a million, but liquid millionaires, it's hard. It's hard to make $1 million really fast. And if you think about it, out of the time that we have been working in any job, if you were worked over 15, 20 years, you've probably already hit $1 million, but you don't see it. You can't see it because you didn't make it fast. So that's the thing. People look at fast money, but a lot of times fast money don't equal up to $1 million because of the amount of risk that you take and the time that you get set back. Say you get locked up, you could be at $500,000. You get locked up for 10 years. Now all that money is gone. Can't do anything. So I'm gonna get to the next question. Unless Donnie, you got anything else to say on that? All right, so let me get to it. So, can someone really build something lasting if their only goal is money? It kind of goes back to the purpose. Something lasting if it's their only goal is money.
I think Agent spoke to it before. He said we know people that that they're really driven by money. You know what I'm saying? That's what they are trying to do, and it's people that are willing to step over you. They're willing to to manipulate and to get take advantage of people for money. And it seems as though sometimes they get away with it. It's like I saw a reel the other day. This man, I think he said he been in the streets for 40 years. He said the ones that able to go to jail, he was saying like, man, they had a break. He said, I've been struggling out here. And I was saying to myself, like, stop selling drugs. But it's like, what I'm saying? It's like I think his thing was is that it was difficult for him, to do that. And so people would say that's success, right? They would say you never got locked up, but in the other regards, it's like you can't spend that money the same way you can spend money you get from a business. You can't spend that, it's almost like you got a bigger issue. The moment I heard a gentleman tell me that was in the streets one time, he said, well, when you're selling drugs, he said, man, first of all, you try to get to the place where you can make some money. He said, you get up to $5,000. He said, you got to put a gun in the other hand. He said, because people are going to try to rob you. So it's like it pushes you to become other things. And I think that's the thing that comes with money is that what are you willing to do to keep earning or to get more of it?
I just thought about something too. I like doing like analogies and making sense of the world because everything works the same way. Just like drug dealers, you say you get up to $5,000, you got to put a gun in the other hand so nobody will rob you. And I'm just thinking about the stock market, right? Insider trading. Once you think that you are doing something in the stock market, now here comes the whales trying to rob you, and you can't even protect your money. You ain't no gun in the stock market. Or like real estate, a real estate agent may not be as honest as they supposed to be, and they sell you a house just to get their commission, and now you're in a crazy amount of debt that you can't get out of, and they just made like a $40,000 commission or $20,000 commission. So when you get money, it's always somebody there that's trying to take it from you. And what I like to try to do is educate people on how to protect your money in different ways. And that's why I created the school community, because we have people in there that teach life insurance, why you need it. You wouldn't imagine how many people don't have life insurance. Life insurance. Then there's so many different tiers of life insurance. I just figured that out because I made a mistake of getting the wrong type of life insurance when I should have got um, universal life insurance. I got the other life insurance. And I had that life insurance for 4 or 5 years and couldn't touch it, couldn't touch anything. So it's not what Deshaun tell me. It's not death insurance, it's life insurance. You're supposed to be able to use the money when you need to use it. But life insurance, people just say, oh, you need life insurance just in case when you die. So your kids don't have to pay anything off. But you should be trying to build that money up so you can use it when you need to use it. Say you get sick, you can't go to work. You should be able to pull from that and be able to pay yourself until you could get another job or do something else. Just like a 401k. People say put a lot of money in your 401k, but the 401k moves up and down with the market. So you can't pull because it'll be a penalty. You see what I mean? Like everything, every time you make money, there's somebody there to be like, hey, give it here. Hey, give it here. IRS, for example. Make a lot of money, you're like, hey, you're making too much. You need to give me some of that. So just like drug dealers with their gun in their hand and the 5,001, throughout life, you're going to run into that. Uh, Adrian, you got something to say?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. So now I got to hop on the fitness train now. I'm in the gym about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I just started taking my son to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning too. It's helping him out. So, do you believe someone without daily discipline can actually sustain success? And I'll tell you guys how it goes into fitness in a minute.
So man, I just tried something crazy. Like started last Sunday, man. I cut out no sugar. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I had a couple weights on my back a couple times. I feel like Pookie in New Jack City a couple times. It's been crucial. But you know what I'm saying? I think too, I got to the place where, I seen the benefits of it. And I think that for me it's about being consistent, about being having self-control. Because, you know, it's so easy. Let's say if you got high blood pressure, or you know what I'm saying, you got high cholesterol, and you go to the doctor and he said, man, you need to put on this medication. But if the same way you eat food to get high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you can eat food for it to go away. You can like reverse that by eating the right way. And man, I want to eat my way healthy. So it's like that's what I'm striving to do, is learning how to have self-control, learning how to eat the right way.
Nah, that's real. This is why I love what we do, man, because fitness is my weakness. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even about to sit up here and lie with y'all, but I also know that that's literally the thing that's keeping me from going to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Spiritually and in the natural, right? It affects your ability to be able to focus. It affects your energy levels. As you guys know, I've done tried all of these different things, but I finally got the solution, y'all. I finally found my solution. And that's what I encourage y'all to do. Keep trying different things till you find what works for y'all, right? I found a basketball they hoop at 5 in the morning. I'll get up to go hoop. And I'm like, if I could hoop 3 to 4 days a week, because I love it. I don't hoop no more, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? So I start next week. So that's gonna help me. But then to your point, discipline. If you're not disciplined in every area of your life, it's going to negatively impact you, right? Me and my pastor, he was teaching at a prison a few years ago. And he was like, hey, looking at me, how many of y'all think if I told y'all I ran 1 to 3 miles 5 days a week, raise your hand if you believe me. Nobody put their hand up. Cause my pastor Chunky, he like, no, I run 1 to 3 miles 5 days a week, but I eat bad. So if you're not disciplined in both areas, you're not going to be able to maximize the results. And so, and sometimes you can't see it, right? So on the outside looking in, like, hey, I'm still getting clients, I'm still getting opportunities. Is me being healthy really affecting me? Absolutely is, Adrian. You ran up 2 flights of stairs and you was winded, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? How you think you're gonna have the mental capacity to fulfill everything that you are trying to accomplish as you go higher? So that's, and I've been saying it since last year, but I'm on it now, y'all. Y'all gonna hold me accountable, man. Every Monday, yo, how many times you hoop? You know what I'm saying? That's gonna help me at least with that part. And no more fast food. That's been a struggle, but I keep like peanuts in my car now. I got peanuts, gum, sunflower seed. I got something to snack on because I need to stay away from daggone KFC. They biscuits be fire, but I'm trying to let go of the KFC.
You know, I'm a advocate of fitness. Now, I like basketball too. Adrian, you don't know. I was a force to be reckoned with back in my day. I was I was pretty good, but I can't play no more. Like if I and this is how obsessive my mind is, right? I always want to be great at whatever I'm doing. So if I start playing, I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna start running in the morning. I'm gonna start doing ball handling drills. I'm gonna start shooting 1,000 shots a day. I'm gonna be doing too much, and that's it. Like, all right, my wife is like, all right, now you're not going to the league. You need to chill out. But that's how I am, right? So my thing is now my drive, I'm trying to push my son to do that, right? And he thinks that maybe I'm trying to push him to the league. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to push him to the league. I'm trying to get him to a point where he's consistent and he has discipline and he pushes through barriers in his brain and his mind where he forces himself to do things that he doesn't want to do. Now, last time we were in the gym or in the weight room, he was like, Dad, my ankle hurt. I said, well, you got up and you got here, didn't you? You don't hurt that bad. You walked here. But it was because he was getting tired. He was like, my ankle hurt. I'm like, man, look, you either want to do this or you don't. And I'm gonna make you do it. I used to feel like maybe I should let him have a choice. No, he won't get no choice no more. And he know that now. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, all right, come on, let's go. Get up. You got 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you downstairs. He like eyes red, sleepy. Get up and let's go. Because kids don't have a choice. You got to give them something to push towards because they don't know no better. And naturally, human beings are going to take the easiest path of resistance.
So I agree with that for the most part. I think if you do give them a choice, give them choices to choose from that you approve of, right? So if it's like, yeah, you're gonna work out. You could choose what muscle you want to work on today, but you go work out. Like my kids today, fashion. Nah, you could pick what you want to wear, but you picking out of these 3 outfits that I picked out, right? That way they got some say, but nah, you ain't out here doing whatever you're supposed to do. And I think I know this ain't the topic, but that's the problem. Like we give our kids way too many choices. My daughter got accepted into several colleges. I'm like, no, you could go to the 3 that's closest to me because if something go on, I'm gonna have to take care of you. And these are the 3 things that you could major in. You could pick out of what I selected. That's all the choice you got. And when you're 25, she's like 25. Yes, when you're 25, then you can make your own decisions. But up until then, this is how we doing things. And I think if more of us did that, not from a place of control, but based off of data and mentors and things like that, we would be more successful, just period. Our communities will be better, our kids will be better, etc. So we definitely limiting our kids' choices around here.
And I add my 2 cents in that. I love that for real because I feel like this book says good is the enemy of great. And I think oftentimes, man, we kind of like, okay, they fine. It's almost like when we struggle, right? We didn't have all that our kids have. So we don't we work so hard to try to make them have a better life. And now it's like we don't push them. We don't put nothing in them. But it was the grit. Sometimes it was not having that made us want to get it. And I think we do them a disservice when we don't push them, because it's in them. It's really gonna make them stronger. And I don't know, I get mad at myself sometimes because see, I have girls, so like sometimes I be like, I don't know if I'm being a little rough, cause you know what I'm saying? Cause I think when authoritative daddy come out, it's like everybody kind of like, you know, like, yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? They don't call me sir no more most of the time. But then they be like, yes, sir, you know. So it's like I think it's important for us to push them to that. And I love that too, Adrian. Like my daughter was talking about college now, bro. She talking about going across the country. And I'm saying, um I want to support it, and I'm this is out here live, so I'm in trouble. I want to support it, but it's like man, as a parent, man, you want to protect the children for sure.
So this is not on my list of questions, but I just thought about this. So I don't know if you guys saw that video of the 15-year-old boy that got shot. It was he got it. I guess they were trying to jump him or something. I don't know what it was. It was two guys. One punched him and then he pulled the gun out and shot him. Now, do you guys think that lack of father figures in the home is a reason why things like that happen?
Well, I think it's a big part of it. I think when you talk about things like that, I think percentage wise, I would say it's over 50. You know what I'm saying? It's over 50% because, and I wouldn't say just having a father in there, but I would say having a good father, having a father that's leading by example, that's what I'm saying, that's done some responsible things in his life. Because I feel like you gonna know where your children at. I think like what I'm saying, that father be like just like you. It's like if your son's somewhere, you kind of know where he gonna be at. And you can be like, what you doing with that? And then I think too, it teaches them a level of respect because what you doing with a gun? It's so many red flags in a situation like that. Like, who is your friend you hanging out with? Where y'all meet at? And I think that as parents, man, we gotta ask those questions. We gotta look at what is it, search history, all that type of stuff. I'm with it.
um no, I don't think it's just because the father's not there, because I think now we're more involved than ever, right? And I think black fathers are number one. I'm gonna say we number one. Y'all can fact check me, but we gonna go that we number one in terms of being at least involved. I think it's more just about the community. I think it's about all of the options that everybody have. We become desensitized to so many things because we're exposed to so many things. So they're thinking this thing is normal, right? Like I was even looking at some statistics about how really like the murder rate and all of that stuff is actually down. But because of social media and it's being put in our face, we will think that it's actually happening more now. And that's possibly not the case. I don't remember exactly what I read, but I think that's what I pulled from it. I think it's more about lack of systems. I think it's about lack of support. I think it's lack of structure. We are literally letting our kids raise our kids to Dominique Point, chasing the bag the wrong way. Oh, let me get this double. Let me work this here. Oh, I got to pay this here. Oh, let me focus on this. Where we don't have the values of family, of support, of time, right? Of making things work, of being responsible for our neighbors' kids. Everybody only want to focus on themselves. So I think it's more due to the isolation of communities and families versus the father just not being there.
Let me throw this out here. So it's like I guess a couple of times dealing with kids that was in trouble, and I've seen times when I went hard on. He'd be like, "Man, you ain't my daddy." I think what's crazy is that I hear that a lot. They be like, man, you talking to me like you my dad. Like we did this group one time, man, with kids. It's like we acted as if we were their father, right? And you know what's so crazy, man? They all hung their head down. It's like when they was talking, I was like, bro, I'm not your real dad. But it's like they was hanging their head low when they was talking, and it's like it was difficult for them to have that conversation. I feel like the father wise is touchy because I even think about myself, about having, my situation. And it's like I think that it was a thing that I eventually had to overcome. And I think as boys you are a son, you're a father, and you're a grandfather. And I think that when one of those is skipped sometimes it's difficult to get it right, you know.
Hmm.
So what you think about that? You think about, I guess, like, the idea if they didn't have their father, they'd be like, well, you ain't my dad to tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the rebellion. Like kids is bad. Like we born evil. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we got this rebelliousness in us, right? But not only that, a lot of the people who are being fathers, it don't mean we the best fathers because we don't know what it's like to be a son. So we was raised with these gaps of not knowing what it's like to be protected. So we had to fend for ourselves. So a lot of the things like, yeah, we may care, but we don't have that skill set, right? We've been taking care of our parents and being grown since we was 8 years old, so we don't even know what it's like to be free. So sometimes we could overcorrect, or we only want to show up for the discipline, but we don't know how to show up with the love, right? That's one reason why I'm thankful my wife is a stay-at-home wife and raising my son. But it threw me off. So my son asked me for something. I think some juice. Can you get some of my juice? I'm like, take some. He was like, Daddy, that was kind of you. Thank you. And I wanted, like, what you talking about? Soft. It's like, Adrian, no, that's not soft. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, you know what, AJ, I appreciate that. But it's like I didn't see that piece. That's the piece that was, missing. And due to my wife and due to the work that I actually do, I was able to catch it, and we're not always able to catch it. So I think having your father present sometimes don't matter because we don't know what we're doing.
I'm gonna tell you what I do, and this was with years of therapy. I'm joking. So what so I got three boys, right? Both of I got three boys. I got a four. Well, he about to be 14. I got a 4-year old, and I got a two. I might as well call it. He's two. He going through terrible twos too. Now those two younger ones, they fight all the time, but that's not what I'm going. They fight, like really fight. But Gabe is the middle child, and he does things like what you just described, right, with your son. And I because I'm in therapy, because I didn't even have that thought, but I did do that with the oldest one. Like, boy, you better toughen up, boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did do that with the oldest one. I tell Jordan that Cam has seen me at every stage of life. Like, if anybody knows me, he knows me, and I implemented every other weekend thing now. So one weekend is wife weekend, the other weekend is family weekend. So I take my wife out one weekend, then the next weekend I have all my boys, like I have all of them, and I'll show them all affection. I still put the 4-year old to sleep. He just like laying with me sometime. The baby, man, he wow. I don't know. Like, he wow. Like he like laying with me, but he would fight he try to fight me. I'm just like, and Cam be looking like, you would have whooped, you would have told my tail. But I'm not that person anymore. And like when you have kids young, your temperament is different. So I had Cam when I was 21. I'm 35 now. So things change. Like I said, he's seen me through every stage, and now I try to, like, we talk a lot more. We spend more time together, and I try to make sure that all the boys get equal amount of time with me instead of just doing work. Like, I'm thinking now, like, money is imaginary, and I'm gonna make a lot of it whenever I'm gonna make a lot of it. So that's how I look at it now. Like, of course we need money, but when you're doing things and don't care about the money, it just comes to you. Like, I could tell you, I made like $3,000 last week in a day. And before I'm hustling and bustling, like trying to get all like I need more clients, I need to do this. I sat down and I was like, all right, and that was like in 3 hours. It won't even it won't, get what I'm saying. So it's like if you think of something, if you think it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be hard. If you think like it's gonna come when it comes, God be like, here you go. That's all I wanted you to do. Yeah, there you go. It just roll it out to you. Here, everything that you need to keep doing what you're doing. And that's the way I look at life now. So before we got on the call, I was outside with him. He had to shoot 500 jump shots. He just got back today. Now he gonna get up in the morning. And Adrian, I ain't give him no choice on the workouts. I'm fitness. He got to do these workouts because I know what it's gonna do to him. But he got to get up in the morning. But I just love being a dad mainly because I didn't have mine, and then I was raised with nothing but women. So it could be I guess I'm the exception because you're raised with nothing but women. Most of the time, people think you're gonna be, I gotta say.
Yeah, you did good, man. I'm proud of you, Brody. You did good, man. So you got me all feeling all sentimental, man. About because I got all girls and one boy, and my son 3. And yesterday I was sitting on the couch with my wife, and he came. He said, "Mommy, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a man like Daddy." Well, that thing almost made me drop one, yo. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's so funny. My son told my mom husband, he said, "My daddy's stronger than you." He was like, "I know." Oh man, let me get to this next question. I can go on about that. But do you think people underestimate the mental pressure that comes with success?
Absolutely. People underestimate everything. Like we don't be knowing. And again, but there are a lot of people. I wish men would invest in themselves more like women do. Right? I do feel like women do get taken advantage of, but they're gonna go get the coach. They're gonna go buy the program. We gotta figure it out on our own. And all we doing is just delaying the process. Right? What finally made me get a mentor was I said, Adrian, imagine if you would have talked to you 5 years ago, how much that would have been worth? Easily 5, 10,000 for just 2, 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Easily. So why not get you somebody now that's gonna help you get to the next level? I don't think we invest in ourselves nowhere near enough, and then we get into the thing, and now we learning on the fly again. So it's always like we're learning, we're being reactive versus being, proactive, right? I remember, shoot, I can't wait till I become a therapist and start my practice. Like I'm gonna kill it. I got it, and it was a lot, and I was like, dang, I wish I had it like it was before. Next level, let me get some therapists up under me. I'm gonna kill it. Nope. That's more stress. That's dealing with day clients, dealing with day billing, and all of this stuff that comes with it. So I'm like, yo, I'm about to just increase my prices and let them go. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm like, no, Adrian, get you somebody who has already done this, pay that bread so they can help you with your systems in terms of bringing new therapists on, etc. So that way I can understand what it's like at that next level. And then you want to build your community around people who are also doing those things. Like my homeboy that I be talking to, he got a whole agency. You know what I'm saying? So I know when I call him and let him know, oh yeah, I know, because the boom, 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 boom. What you got to do is okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to systems, community, and us investing in ourselves, man. So y'all better get in the 5 a.m. club now while you can. You know what I'm saying? You've been waiting for a sign. This is the sign. Invest in yourself.
Lonnie, you got anything to add to that?
I love that, man. That's definitely getting the 5 a.m. club. I love that you're getting up at 3 a.m., man. That's something I've been doing, and it's changed my life, man. I think just because, for one, I go to bed early, and it's like so. It just I kind of shifts, I guess, how I think because around 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm winding down, So it's been super healthy for me, I think, spiritually and mentally. Recently, man, I had this older gentleman, man. He been pouring into me. This man is uber rich, right? He has a he actually He has a company where he sells insurance to corporations, and he has like some big people. He said to the place where he ain't taking no new clients. He said if you take a new client, they got to bring like $20 million. So it's like you know what I'm saying. If we go, we have lunch, right? We actually on for this Thursday, and it's like I be saying to myself, man, like what do we have in common? It's crazy, but it's really the favor of God, and I think that's like how you judge success is important. I think sometimes the money, the house, the cars, like some people look at that as success, but it's sometimes it's about the person you become on the journey. It's not about where you get to, but it's about who you become while you're going there. And the Lord will put people in your life, man, that are pour into you in ways that, you know what I'm saying, that it'll make things easier, you know? Like we sit down and he just man, he asked me sometimes like, what can I do for you? I want to be like, give me $1 million. That's the quick fix, right? But it's like I realized I say, man, shoot, I could tell him that I want to learn how to make it. And it's like he put me on so much game about stuff, you know what I'm saying, about just like life. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes he'll say like, he asked God why he made him, why was it him? Like he chose him to be, to have what he has. He just recently lost his wife, which was crucial, and he felt as though that man and that I spoke to him in a time. He was like, man, God sent me for real. And I'll tell you, man, sometimes like when you align with the purpose of God, man, God will put you in places, that you don't even feel you deserve to be in. So what I think about success, man, I think about success is just like being obedient to God.
Hey, before you go, hey, so go ahead and start that church, Donnie, and just let them know, hey, give a love offering. You know what I'm saying? Let that man go on and fund that building.
So I could say this, right? And I'm gonna go to Adrian. What you said about go ahead and get a coach, go get a mentor, and things like that. I'm gonna tell you my biggest problem with that, bro. I have got coaches, I've got mentors, and I don't know, Donnie. Maybe you could tell me why I'm like this, but every person that I have talked to, I felt like I knew what they were about to tell me. I don't know what it is. Like I promise you, it's like when I was doing government contracting, when I was doing a whole bunch of different things. I'm like, bro, I already know that. Like, why are you telling me that? And I'm not being arrogant, but it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I just know things. Like I don't know what it is. I just know what it is, how to do it. And my wife be looking at me, how do you know that? I don't know. I mean, it just makes sense to me. I'm like, because I'm a very logical thinker. I don't think with my emotions. And I do what makes sense. If that makes sense. Like I'm a common sense. Like common sense would tell you, but you're like, that's not common. And I'm like, well, it is to me. And maybe because I had a lot of different experiences, but I had a mentor that we would get on a call and he wouldn't be telling me anything. He'll just be listening to me like, oh yeah, I like that idea. Or like, I felt like he was taking from me. I'm like, bro, I need to learn from you. Tell me something. But I've had like 5 people, and I'm not being arrogant. I'm just like, I need somebody that's gonna push me. Like, tell me what you want me to do. I'm gonna go do it. Tell me what I did wrong. I'm gonna take credit. I take criticism very well. I just need to be like pushed to my limits, and I don't think anybody has pushed me to my limit but my wife. Like, my wife pushed me to my Adrian. You know, my wife pushed me to my limit.
Nah, but hearing you talk, I think it's a few things with you, right? I think one, you're a self-starter, right? So people, it's gonna be hard to find somebody who can push you because you already be pushing yourself past your limits already. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one that's gonna make it difficult. Two, you do have a gift of knowledge. Like that's what that is. When you just know how to do things or you see something once, it's gonna click. So you are gonna have that too. And so what you may need may be different, right? It may just be somebody to remind you to do the other things, right? That could kind of happen here or there. It just may not be business, right? Because I have a gift of knowledge, but it's more so like people and problems and what's kind of going on. And like I'll meet a new couple, as soon as the wife starts talking, I already know where this whole thing about to go. And it just happens like that every time. But now when it comes to like business stuff, oh nah. So there is gonna come a season where it's gonna be something to where you're gonna have to get those steps kind of walking through, and it may be something to just pray about. This may just not be the season where you kind of need it. Like God got you. Like I said, man, if I could just operate at like 60% of what you had in you, Dominique, I'd have been a millionaire, brother. I'd have been a millionaire.
Man, I think I was thinking about the time like looking for a church. Let's say you read the Bible, you go to school, you got a religious study degree, right? You know, you pray, you spend time with God, and then you go to church, and it's like if unconsciously you'll judge the message. You'd be like, man, like what are you about to say? Is it structurally sound? Is his theology right? You know what I'm saying? And I think that whatever you feed or whatever you become really good at, you know what I'm saying, you become. I think you kind of can see, you know, holes in situations. So I think that when you're dealing with stuff that you've learned a lot, it's difficult sometimes to learn. And every like you know, person that has success ain't a leader, man. And then sometimes they're not good teachers either. And there's gatekeepers. You know, there's people for real is like, man, I don't want to get you. Like, I'm not giving you everything, you know. And I think that's so dangerous, man, because you know, who else is going to do it when we die? Like we got to be willing to pour everything into to the next generation and stop holding stuff back. You know what I'm saying? What we holding it back for? Like anything that I learned, man, I try to get it out because it's like for real. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. What good is it holding on to it? So you know, keep looking, man. I really feel like all men should have somebody over them that can pour into them, somebody on their level they can relate to, and somebody they're always pouring into.
Yo, that's how I know we aligned, Donnie. Because I ain't never hear you say that, and I say that all. Where we get that
No,
from?
my dog, whatever.
I wonder who like is the originator. Because I tell people that all the
That's
time.
real.
You need 3 levels above you, on your level, and under.
That's real.
That sound, boy. That sound.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think so Adrian, when I met you, that was what I needed. When I reached out to Donnie, when I started talking more to him, that's what I needed. So I think I have people above me right now. You know, that's the way I look at it. I'm being funny, but man, it's hard out here, man. Especially like doing like I say for my friends, right? There's a lot of friends I grew up with that we're not as close anymore. But I do have like this like a few close friends now, but they're not from the past now. They're like I just went to my best friend Barry. I was telling you about Barry, Adrian. Like we just talked, and then one day I was like, man, I ain't come over here for a little while. 'Cause I had to get my stuff together, and then I left, and me and Jordan was going on a date because we stopped by there not this weekend, like a couple months ago, when I kind of started getting back into the groove of things. And he texted me, and he was like, "Bro, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull the text message up because it had me. I was like, oh man, where is it at?" He said, "Don't ever feel like you gotta stay away when you're going through something. We go through that." He said, "We go through that, together." And I was like, man. Now, like it touched me because I'm like you said, self starter. I do stuff by myself. I figure out my problems by myself. And I was just like, and I told Jordan, I was like, dang, I almost shed a tear. I was like, dang, man. So he's like somebody on my level. I look at y'all like I pull from y'all, and it's just a business aspect. Like I can't get down with that right now. I don't know what it is or who it is, but I just can't find it.
Hey, what's gonna happen, man? I'm gonna give you. We're gonna say this year, man. We're gonna speak it all the way into existence. You're gonna be in a space where then you're gonna get what's the old boy named Myron Golden, man. He gonna be a mentor, man.
Yeah.
You can proceed
Yeah.
to Bill.
All right, let me get this follow up question before we got 9 minutes left. Let me get to it. Let me get back to the questions. All right, so if someone wants to make $1 million right away, What do they need to change? I'm just get your perspectives on it, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what they really need to change to make $1 million.
So I ain't made a million, so I don't know. But I know what it's not. I know it ain't. You got to be willing to do something different. So I say, if I wanted to make $1 million, one thing I know I would have to do is I would have to die to some things, and I would have to be willing to change some things, right? Because it's going to be something that's out of my comfort zone either way. I think that would be the biggest challenge for me. The other thing is I would have to have something that's foundationally sound. I would need the systems to be in place. I would need to be able to follow up on it. What else Dominique be talking about? I would probably have to do some sprints to test it to see what went well and what didn't get well. Maybe 1 or 2. See, Dominique, I be listening. But yeah, so I'll pass it over to y'all.
So Donnie, what you think?
So I think the real first thing I think about is like if you pouring water in a bucket, you got to make sure it don't have no holes in it. I think that we waste so much. You know what I'm saying? So I think you got to eliminate money going out. You got to go through and you got to trim the fat. Say I'm wasting money over here. I got to stop that. I got to stop eating out. And it's like I think just cutting the things out that need to be cut out. For me, that would be the first thing to do. Making sure that when it come in, it'll stay.
So I've worked for corporations. They make $1 billion, $1 trillion, stuff like that, right? So the way to make $1 million is just make what you make right now faster. It's very simple. And the way to do that is got a list. Get strong in your faith, get your body strong, have those systems in place for your business, and handle your mental health. So the reason that I brought all of us together was because it's value in each of those areas, not only to make money, but to live a great life. So where I say I work for these $1 trillion, $1 billion corporations and consulting with the CEOs, the executive teams, and things like that, I don't coach in what they are doing, like of course, what they're doing, but their skill set, quote unquote. I coach on a wheel, so everything is the same in the wheel: research, development, review, retro, and you throw a little refinement in there too. And the reason that you do that is to speed up your delivery of whatever you are doing. So you put it in the faith aspect. Maybe you need to read more. You got to make it measurable. Maybe you want to read X amount of pages in the Bible. Don't know. Maybe you want to pray a number of times a week. Maybe you want to go to the gym a certain number of times in a week. Maybe you want to see how much money you're bringing in versus going out so you can increase what's working and what's not working, like Donnie said. And you got to have a strong mental because it gets stressful and you need people to talk to. You need to vent to. You need to, get all of that out because you have to have a clear mind when it comes to being purposeful, not even the money. Like I said earlier, money is imaginary. Is really you numbers on a screen at this point in life. So just like whatever you make, let's say someone makes $100,000 in a year. Figure out how to make it in a month. Your $1 million right there. So I'll end it there. I'll let whatever you guys, if you got anything to say, anything you want to put out, and go ahead and tell the people.
Nah, I enjoyed this because we was chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? I think that's was the beautiful piece. I think this just goes to show the importance of community, man. Y'all do not be out here trying to figure this stuff out alone. You need help. You need support. Men need other men. 5 a.m. club. We got you.
Iron sharpens iron, man. I think the beautiful thing is to get around people that have, a progressive mentality, faith, that'll challenge you. like we need to be challenged. You know, we need the greatness in us need to be aggravated. A lot of times, man, if we don't have people to say, look, man, you better than that, or you man, like get on up at 5 o'clock, get up at 3 o'clock, hit the gym. You know, our brother agent say he going to play ball, man. He done committed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think that's what it is about. It's about us, like, you know, being there for each other, making each other better. Like I can say for me, you know, being a part of the 5 a.m. club, man, has motivated me. It's something I look forward to. You know, I know that throughout the week, man, y'all grinding, y'all doing y'all thing. It's encouraging to know that, you know, that I got to do the same on my end.
And you're doing your thing too, Donnie. And I ain't gonna spill the beans. I'll leave that for another time for what you got coming up. But I am super excited to join you on that journey as well. So again, that's 5 a.m. Club After Hours. We're missing Josh tonight, but see you again in 2 weeks.